welcome to another week of We Hate Fantasy Football. That's right, I changed the name from I Hate Fantasy Football to We Hate Fantasy Football. Sitting next to me is Crazy MFJR. I am the captain. And finally, we hate fantasy football. Josh, how was your week?
It was great.
You had a good week? Decent week?
Yep.
Fine week?
Yeah.
It's okay?
I'm doing fine.
You're doing all right.
But thank you for asking.
I just
Appreciate the concerns. But
Of course.
yeah, I'm great.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and do our week 3 recap.
Okay.
What happened in week 3? Anything good? What was the most interesting matchup?
So in the loser leaves town match, Title beat
right.
you. So that was the most interesting to me. I don't know what you're going to do the rest of the year, but 0-3 is a rough start.
See you later.
Get back here.
0-3 is a rough start.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'll come back. I'm not dead yet,
No, you're breathing.
but we're close. All right.
Long season left to go. We still got a long way. Just got to catch fire and get rolling.
Yeah. I hope I caught fire. Okay, we'll talk about that later. What about there was a good matchup. What was the best matchup that you saw?
Well, Tom beating Jordy was really interesting because he got his first win of the year. I think this might have been the earliest time that he's gotten his first win. So he's off the schneid. He's not 0-3. He's now 1-2. Wally's also 1-2. The defending champ is in a hole. He's got work to do as well. I find that really interesting.
Okay, no, seriously. The best matchup of the week. What was it?
Okay. So I talked a lot of mess about Kevin's team. And I have to admit, Kevin's team's really good. He rolled to another win by beating Lisa. I don't know how his team's doing it. Hyde showed up again. Man, Kevin's team's really good.
He is good.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not the matchup we were all talking about. There was one matchup. All the text messages were blowing up. What was it?
Well, I did see a whole bunch of stuff about Gus beating Ryan. Ryan's team just completely fell apart. I don't know what happened. And as usual, Gus was there to stomp on him and had a good week. And he picked up another win and looks like he's on his way marching forward.
All right, Josh. All right, let me paint you a picture. Sunday's over.
Yeah.
Monday's about to start.
Uh-huh.
You've got a lead.
I did.
154.8. Those were your points.
Yeah.
100.7. That was Jeff's amount of points.
That's where it ended, right? We only play through Sundays?
Yeah. No, it didn't. It didn't end there.
What?
So Monday, the game starts, and about 6 minutes in,
Was there a game
Josh,
on Monday?
I'm gonna show you this play right here.
I think I was at soccer practice on Monday. I don't have any idea what you're even talking about.
Here, just in case you missed it, here's the play.
Freeman, nifty footwork, and a stiff arm to shed a...
And then the rest of the night kind of went like Jeff was Devontae Freeman, and you were that Saints guy trying to tackle him.
I have no recollection of any of this.
Oh my gosh, what a great matchup. What a great matchup. Woo-wee! What a great matchup. We had Tevin Coleman go out for 26.9 points. We had Devontae Freeman go out for 26.7 points. We had Kobe Fleener go out for 16.9 points.
That guy stinks.
What a great matchup. I think everybody enjoyed that one the most.
I really have no recollection of any of this.
Well,
You're dreaming, right?
now you know. You lost, buddy.
Thanks for
You
filling me in.
lost. But I do want to point out, Brandon Cooks is still terrible. Only 1.9 points from Brandon Cooks. That was fantastic. What a great week for him. All right, so a couple other things to point out from last week. I do have a really bad team.
Yes.
And I was really worried about this because I was kind of hoping that I wasn't the new Tom, the new buy. So I kind of went back to last year and looked at Tom's first 4 weeks. And I saw that Tom's week 1, he scored 70 points. In Tom's week 2, he scored 66 points. And he really, really brought it in week 3 with his 62 points. Now, I've averaged about 100 points so far this season each week, so I'm not too worried about being the new buy.
Well, there's inflation. That's the way the market economy works. Every year, things are worth a little bit less, so points are a little bit less valuable.
We didn't start starting more guys this year.
It all seems about the same to me.
All right, let's move on. What happened to Ryan's team this week?
I don't know. He just decided to do nothing. So.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 guys score 0.
Yeah.
I mean, he started Willie Snead, which he shouldn't have. He wasn't even, like, we knew Sunday night he wasn't going to play.
Did he? I don't think he had anybody else to put in on.
Maybe not. So. And then Kelvin Benjamin put up in 0.
See, that was
Cam Newton had a bad week. So.
I started Kelvin Benjamin at DFS because I thought he was going to be really good, and that donut was surprising. So
yeah, it was a really bad week. Really, really bad week.
It happens to you.
Kevin's team.
Yes.
Kevin's team's looking good.
Still rolling.
So Lisa goes up against Kevin. And Kevin's quarterback throws up 3 points, and Lisa's probably feeling pretty good. And then we had bad Big Ben.
Yeah, you called it. You get good Ben and you get bad Ben, and this was definitely bad Ben. Dragged Antonio Brown with him too.
He sure did. That was a really good 1-2 combo there.
Yeah. Who knew? That's what he does.
So let's take a look at the current standings this week. Nobody's really taken off. There's a lot of 2-1 teams. There is a 3-0 team, and he's looking pretty good because that division is no good.
Bad.
A lot of 1 and 2 teams in that division. We have Kevin on top there, and then everyone else way behind.
Yep.
And our division's looking pretty good, though. Looking pretty strong, pretty.
Well, even though Keitel's only 1 and 2, I still think he's still got a solid team. So we'll see. Things will measure themselves out as we go along.
That 0-3 team doesn't look too bad either.
It's not the worst 0-3 team I've ever seen.
Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our rankings for the week. Jordan, take it away.
We are back with Week 4 rankings, so let's get right into it. And then there was only one. So despite poor performances from Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald, Kevin is still undefeated in our league. Now this week he puts up that undefeated streak up against Gus, who's on a 2-game win streak of his own. Number 2 is Josh and Ezekiel like Sunday morning. So when Josh woke up on Monday, he thought there was no way he was going to lose to Jeff. Despite a strong performance from Marvin Jones and his beloved Detroit Lions and Allen Robinson, the Atlanta running backs proved to be too much for Josh. Now Josh looks to get back on the right track this week, going up against Keitel, who's fresh off his first win of the season. Next is Gus at number 3. Now the champ has won 2 games in a row, and the Packers have looked great. Unfortunately, they're on a bye this week. So his $22 backup, Jameis Winston, shouldn't be too big of a drop-off, but Gus is obviously going to have to go to the waiver wire in order to complete a full roster. He really just wants Gronk to start getting involved in that Patriots offense. Next, we have the Dudes Abide with over 76 points from his running backs combined and 32 points from the Chiefs D. Like we mentioned before, Jeff handed Josh his first loss of the season. Now, Jeff's got 2 wins in a row behind him, and it looks to make it 3 going up against a struggling Power and Glory team. Next, number 5 is Kalos Rhyhorns. Now, Le'Veon Bell couldn't come back at a better time for Ryan. The performance for the Houston D really set the tone for Ryan's team throughout Week 3. Now, David Johnson continues to be a bright spot in the team, leading all running backs in the NFL. But Ryan needs help from his wide receivers if he wants to beat Darren this week. Next, we go to Jordan, who is fresh off that win over Darren. He had a strong performance from the Vikings D, Matt Ryan, and LaShawn McCoy. Ingram and Cooper, they actually outperformed Gurley and Fuller. So it looks like Keitel wins week 1 of that trade with Tom. Now, Keitel's got an uphill battle if he wants to beat Josh this week. Next, we go to Lisa and Anastasia Beaverhausen. So not even the passing, rushing, and receiving performance of Terrell Pryor was enough to beat Dodger Dogs. The Philly D proved too much for Big Ben, but this week she goes to the Estrada Bowl where she looks to get back on track. Number 8, Power and Glory. Is it week 5 yet? Now, we know AP's on injured reserve. Des Bryant went for an MRI. Ryan Matthews hurt his ankle. Shane Vereen out for the season. Power and Glory cannot catch a break. Pickups like Cameron Artis-Payne and Kirk Cousins. We'll see if that can help get him to 2-2 before Brady gets back. But this team is struggling. Next, we have number 9, Trumpster Fire, fresh off his first win of the season. Now, even without his trade with Keitel, Tom still beats Power and Glory this week. Breakout games from both Emmanuel Sanders and Doug Baldwin really helped. Todd Gurley's performance gave him the edge there. This week, obviously, like we mentioned, it's the much anticipated Battle of the Estradas. And finally, at number 10, O Captain, My Captain. Now, typically starting 0-3, that would cause reason to panic. But you had some bright spots, Darren, from Jeremy Hill, Mike Evans, and Drew Brees. So you might have some life still. Obviously, you're going up against an underperforming Kalos Rhyhorns team, who's underperformed this last week. So, guys, that's the rankings. Back to you. you. See you next week.
Jordan, thanks for that. Great job as always on your rankings.
Pretty awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and start at the bottom on those rankings.
Okay.
Well, because that's where I am.
Yeah.
I don't know that I agree. All right, I agree. So it's going to be a battle for the bottom down there. There's the last 3 teams, 2-3 teams. We're going to be battling, trying to not be the last place team all year long, and that's fine. As long as I end up at the end, not at the bottom, that'll be fine with me. Ryan continuing to fall, that's making me laugh a little bit. I think that he's going to continue to fall. He dropped 3 spots this week. He's probably going to drop another couple next week. Hope he joins us down at that bottom of the barrel. I hope that happens. What'd you say?
Well, once again, congrats, Kevin, on taking the number 1 spot. You're not going to have it for very long, but you got it now. So
is Gus going to take it?
Maybe.
Lisa?
No. Lisa did have a good pickup with with Terrell Pryor last minute. That that guy went off. So that was pretty awesome. But on the Jameis Winston subject, Gus picked up Jameis for $22 for this week to fill in for A-Rod, and he's got to go up against Denver. So I don't know if you were paying attention to who his matchup was going to be, Gus, but. That one's not going to be easy.
Wait, is Denver's defense good? Is that what you're saying?
Typically, they're pretty good. They might have the best corners in the league.
Okay.
So
I was just checking.
And probably the best defensive player now that J.J. Watt's out and Von Miller. So Jameis, I like Jameis, but he's probably in for a rough day. So we'll see how that goes. And then I think Keitel's won his trade with Tom so far through 1 week.
Close.
It is close. He picked up the win though. Tom picked up a win too. And we'll see. It's interesting to continue to monitor how that turns out. So it's interesting stuff.
Okay. That'll wrap up our Week 3 recap. For Crazy MFJR, I am the captain, and we'll see you next time.